My bride-to-be swapped my name for her past relationship partner on our wedding announcements. She claimed it was an error and she giggled about it. I responded, "I've got this covered." Then I reached out to the reception location, terminated the reservation, and forwarded corrected information to our guests, inviting them to my breakup celebration party instead. Her parents' furious voicemail still echoes in my memory. I'm a 32-year-old man, or I should say, I was someone's fiancé until recently. My profession is in logistics and data management. I live for spreadsheets and well-defined objectives. My partner, Sarah, who is 30 years old, operates completely differently. She's spontaneous, embraces uncertainty, and prioritizes visual appeal above all else. I believed our differences balanced each other perfectly. I thought her unpredictability was delightful, and she viewed my structure as reassuring. Turns out her spontaneity was actually an indication of her lingering attachment to her previous romantic partner. We spent the last 12 months arranging our wedding, which was scheduled for just 3 weeks away. The pressure has been enormous. Her mom, Christine, aged 50, is orchestrating most decisions and has expensive tastes. Her preferences rival the cost of luxury vehicles. I've simply been paying bills to maintain harmony. I've covered roughly 90% of all expenses, the location, the musical ensemble, and the elaborate 7-layer cake that probably tastes mediocre. All charged to my accounts. Sarah, trained in design principles and artistic composition, wanted to personally design the announcement cards herself. She insisted on engaging a premium printing company with hand-pressing capabilities. "The aesthetic must be perfect, Michael," she'd said. "First impressions matter. It establishes expectations." The package showed up this morning. I was genuinely thrilled. This represented completion of the last component. I carefully removed a card from the package. The paper was gorgeous, heavy, pale, with shimmering silver lettering. I examined the words carefully. "Christine and her father cordially welcome you to the wedding ceremony of their child, Sarah Elizabeth, to Marcus Henderson." I froze completely. My thoughts wouldn't process. Marcus. Marcus. Marcus is her former lover. The man she'd been with during the previous 5 years before meeting me. The one her mother persistently mentions at family events. The one that supposedly got away, though Sarah swore she'd moved past him. My actual name is Michael. I extracted another card from the package. Identical text. And another. The entire stack. 200 printed cards, all announcing our guests to witness Sarah marrying Marcus. I maintained an oddly serene demeanor, simply distant and emotionless. I proceeded to the family room where Sarah and Christine were examining flower arrangements on a computer screen. "Hey, Sarah," I called, attempting to sound indifferent. "The printed cards have been delivered. There's something you should see." "Fantastic," she exclaimed without looking away from the display. "How do they appear? Are they perfect?" "They're quite nice," I said calmly. "But there's an issue with the names on them." Christine let out an exasperated sigh. "Did they misspell your family name? Those printing companies are always incompetent." "No," I explained. "They got Sarah's name correctly. They just substituted Marcus's name instead of mine." Quiet descended upon the room. Christine's attention shifted immediately toward me. Sarah became motionless. Then Sarah released a strange, high-pitched chuckle. "Oh no, you're joking," she said, placing her hand over her mouth. "Seriously? That's absolutely ridiculous." She snatched the card from my fingers. Her complexion went ashen, then became intensely flushed. "It must have been a printing error," she stammered, still laughing in that nervous way. "A printing mistake?"
Can you imagine?
"The company must have confused my documents." "Oh wow, how mortifying. The wrong file was probably uploaded when I submitted my design." "Goodness, so embarrassing," Christine interjected quickly. "Just a printing error." "Well, Sarah, that's certainly unusual. I mean, it's merely a minor oversight." "Michael, why do you appear so serious? It's rather amusing, isn't it? Simply call them for a correction." I simply observed them both.
You made an error by typing your former lover's complete name onto our wedding cards?
"Michael, please stop," she said, her laughter transforming into irritation. "It was honestly just a mistake, a careless file mix-up. Quit being suspicious. Stop spoiling the moment. We can simply contact them. We'll arrange a reprint." "Sarah," I continued, maintaining my calm voice, "the ceremony is scheduled for 3 weeks out. There isn't sufficient time for corrections and distribution. Plus, you didn't manually compose this. You submitted a document titled Sarah and Marcus's Wedding Celebration." Her mouth fell open in shock. I hadn't known that myself, pure deduction based on logic. Her reaction confirmed my suspicion. "You're overreacting," she snapped. "It's just terminology. Why are you always trying to upset me? It was merely a careless, silly mix-up. Will you continuously throw this in my face?" I stared at her properly. Really looked at her. The panic flickering in her eyes, the immediate blame shifting, the way she was making herself the victim. I recalled the preceding months, the unintended messages from him she'd answered, the way her mom kept mentioning, "Marcus enjoyed this cafe so much." Everything. The logical part of my brain that keeps me grounded simply switched off. A smile spread across my face, though it felt unnatural and uncomfortable. "You're absolutely right," I stated. "It's merely a printing mistake, no big deal. Don't be anxious about it, sweetheart. I'm going to take care of the error." She appeared visibly relieved. "Oh, wonderful." I'm grateful. "Look, it's nothing serious." "Nothing at all." "Absolutely nothing," I confirmed. "I'll fix the printing issue and organize the contact information. You continue concentrating on those flowers. That's what matters, isn't it? The visual impression." "Precisely," she confirmed, appearing thankful. "I appreciate it, baby. You're wonderful." I headed to my workspace and secured the entrance. I remained there for about 15 minutes, simply sitting and attempting to steady my racing thoughts. The anguish was tangible, a physical sensation resembling a strike to my abdomen. Subsequently, I began executing my strategy. I'm inherently an organizer, after all. Initial step, addressing finances. I accessed my computer. I maintained a separate savings account with competitive returns where I'd been accumulating wedding expenditures. The balance showed roughly $22,000 available. I moved the complete sum to my regular account, then relocated it once more to a completely fresh savings account at an entirely different financial institution, starting immediately. Secondary step, managing the venue. I reviewed my paperwork for the Grand Orchard, our excessively luxurious reception location. I'd transferred the $10,000 security deposit. The remaining $15,000 payment was expected within 7 days. I dialed the coordinator managing events, Michelle. "Michelle, hello, this is Michael. We're experiencing a complication with our ceremony." "Oh, Michael. Is something the matter?" "Regrettably, yes. My intended bride remains emotionally connected to her ex-romantic partner. She was so enamored that she placed his name on the printed cards. We're terminating." There was an audible gasp through the receiver. "I understand the $10,000 advance is non-refundable," I explained. "I'm accepting that loss. I simply need assurance that my card won't be charged for the outstanding balance. Kindly email me written confirmation of the cancellation." "Naturally, Michael, I'm terribly sorry to hear this." "So am I," I replied. "Thank you." Tertiary step, contacting the additional service providers. It was approaching 8 o'clock, sequentially one after another. The floral arrangement specialist, $3,000 payment forfeited, terminated. The musical group, $2,500 payment forfeited, terminated. The dessert maker, $1,000 payment forfeited, terminated. The photography professional, $4,000 payment forfeited. This one was particularly painful. I genuinely appreciated his work. Terminated. Combined expense of this naming mistake, $20,500. Still less expensive than separating from her legally. Quaternary step, addressing the printing error. I accessed the online platform Sarah had meticulously constructed for our celebration. It contained all 190 guest contact information. I pressed the mass notification function. I composed a fresh message. Header, a significant modification regarding the ceremony announcement for Sarah. Esteemed attendees, you'll likely receive an elegantly printed announcement for Sarah's union with Marcus. This apparently happened due to a clerical mistake. The actual spouse is Michael, myself. I've made the decision to address this administrative oversight. Sarah's and Michael's ceremony is no longer occurring. However, I've already paid an enormous, non-refundable tab at an exceptional location, and I'd rather not squander premium alcohol. Therefore, I warmly welcome. My cellular device started emitting notifications continuously. Correspondence, digital messages. My closest friend Robert reached out first. "Oh man, are you serious? I'm phoning you immediately." My mother, "Sweetheart, please contact me." "What exactly happened?" "Shared acquaintances." "Are you joking around?" "Oh my, Michael, I feel terrible for you." Then Sarah's cellular telephone, abandoned on the couch, began signaling repeatedly. She and her mother remained in the kitchen, still contentedly debating appetizer selections. I heard her return to the living room. My goodness, who's trying to contact me so urgently? She examined her cellular device. Absolute silence. Michael, she said quietly. Michael, what? What is the Pinnacle Bar? I walked out from my space. She appeared colorless. That's my solution, I responded. I terminated the ceremony and sent invitations to a celebration at an alternate location. You're not included on the invitation list. You terminated it? She shrieked. You did what? The wedding? You can't cancel. You can't marry Marcus if I've already canceled our venue. Sarah, you claimed it was a simple mistake, I noted. She screamed so loudly her voice became hoarse. A simple mistake. You completely lost your mind. You completely destroyed my wedding. No, I explained, retrieving my house keys and my computer equipment container. You ruined it when you included his name on those cards. I'm leaving. I'm contacting the venue directly. I'm fixing everything. You cannot leave. Go right ahead, I said, walking toward the exit. Every deposit has been canceled. All agreements have been nullified. Everything was registered under my name and paid with my funds. I approached the entry when Christine ultimately comprehended what was transpiring. She placed herself between me and freedom. You cannot do this. You're going to phone everyone and offer an explanation. You must apologize. You've dishonored my daughter. She brought shame on herself, I said, proceeding around her. Enjoy your evening, Christine. Sarah, I'm having the door locks replaced on my residence starting tomorrow. You should probably arrange alternative accommodations. I departed. I'm currently at Robert's residence. My cellular device shows 19 unanswered communications from Sarah, 14 from Christine, and 48 additional messages and a recorded message from Christine. Robert played the recording on speaker. Michael, you complete coward. You've obliterated my offspring. You terminated her perfect wedding. You terminated the florist. I will prosecute you. I'll strip you of everything. You'll cover her clothing expenses. You'll cover every invoice. You will compensate me. It became increasingly unhinged. Robert simply stared at me with wide eyes and gave me a beverage. Brother, he remarked, that $20 was the greatest investment you've ever made. I believe he's correct. The following 7 days have passed. I'm writing from a minimalist corporate apartment. My company owed me a significant benefit. My bride incorporated her ex-romantic partner's name into our wedding cards, a sufficient justification to claim it. I haven't returned to my residence. Let's address the initial issue immediately. My solo celebration bash is completely confirmed for execution. The Pinnacle Bar management accepted my transfer of the tabs without difficulty. I suspect the venue director granted me a courtesy reduction. The consequences have been catastrophic in scope. My residence was acquired 7 years preceding our meeting. Nevertheless, according to my legal representative, indeed I've hired one now, big appreciation to Timothy, she maintains residential occupation privileges. I couldn't simply modify the entrance security. Consequently, I formally handed her a 30-day departure notification. This proved extremely unpopular. She remains in the residence unhappy. She ultimately dialed me through a concealed number, and I regrettably picked up. You served me with legal paperwork? She shrieked. You had someone come to my residence and serve me like I'm a criminal? I'm simply abiding by legal requirements, Sarah. You possess 30 days to remove your possessions. Remove my possessions. This constitutes my living space. You're mistreating me financially, Michael. This constitutes abuse regarding finances. You substituted your ex-partner's name on the invitation, Sarah. That's apparently your aspiration, not something I desired. It was simply an error. A simple mishap. How repeatedly must I repeat this? I wasn't thinking clearly. My parent was. It wasn't a basic mistake, I stated. I'm now preventing this communication. All upcoming exchanges will be managed through my legal representative, Timothy. You have his contact information. I disconnected the line, but the sense of entitlement transformed into something more extreme. Yesterday, I got a certified letter delivered to my employment location. It was composed by Christine. It represented an itemized bill, a comprehensive 5-page invoice totaling $28,400. It encompassed $10,000 for obtaining a non-refundable wedding garment and accessories, $5,000 for psychological harm and public shame resulting from deceptive correspondence. She employed the word deceptive. It wouldn't be dishonest if it was factual. $3,500 for prepaid non-refundable wellness sessions, dermatology, bronzing treatments, follicle maintenance, dermabrasion. $2,000 for forfeited deposits for ceremony preparation location. $4,500 for specially crafted decorative cake ornament. And my absolute favorite, $6,750 for expert services for event coordination offered by Christine. She was charging me for her participation in organizing. I examined it in shock. The $2,500 for the cake ornament captured my focus. It was a specially made picture frame item. I have the financial confirmation on my accounts. I paid for it. Neither she nor Christine did anything. They were double billing. I photographed the documentation and transmitted it to Timothy, accompanied by the heading. Regarding the submission above, this appears quite optimistic. Timothy contacted me back, chuckling. Provide absolutely no response, he instructed. This represents what we consider inexperienced hour. It's entirely without legal standing. It's essentially frustration made tangible. But it bothered me. The decorated cake ornament troubled me significantly. I had purchased it. It represented my property, and it was presumably inside my residence. Subsequently arrived the underhanded maneuver. My financial provider transmitted a notification. Fraudulent transaction attempt notification. Someone had endeavored to process a monetary instrument from an outdated, inactive account I maintained. A dormant account unused for 36 months. The instrument was addressed to Christine. The monetary sum represented $15,000. I'm positioned within my residence. The scent is peculiar, resembling burnt strands and inexpensive cologne. Yet I'm occupying it, and it belongs to me. The exit was theatrical. I showed up alongside Robert plus pair of enforcement officials. They maintained complete impartiality, simply stayed by the entry to maintain composure. Sarah was there accompanied by Christine. Neither individual had organized their departure. They'd apparently allocated the previous 48 hours to processing emotions. And by processing, I mean causing deliberate destruction to my belongings. It wasn't explicit. It was petty and calculated. My adored upholstered furniture contained an intentional slash traversing the fabric. My premium blending apparatus was absent. My entire pepper and seasoning inventory was disposed into the drainage system. My oral hygiene instrument was recovered from the commode. The fragrance situation was overwhelming. She'd apparently distributed every individual container of cologne she possessed across my bedding. It'll be impossible to restore. Christine commenced her assault straight away. You brought police officers? You're apprehending her? You monster? Ma'am, the officer explained, we're maintaining order. The proprietor is facilitating the departure of Ms. Sarah's individual belongings. This is her residence, Christine hollered, gesturing dramatically toward my visual entertainment equipment. She resides here. This constitutes her property. Actually, it's not, I stated quietly. Timothy's correspondence. 48 period. Remove your belongings immediately. Sarah remained crouched on the surface, sobbing uncontrollably. You orchestrated everything. You despise me. I do presently, I responded. You fabricated a fraudulent financial instrument totaling $15,000, Sarah. You attempted criminal activity. Gather your items. That's when I spotted it. The specialized cake ornament. The $1,500 possession I'd financed. It sat on the eating surface. It was vandalized. She'd employed a permanent marker and created offensive imagery on my likeness, then fractured her representation at the midpoint. You're not taking that, I said firmly, pointing toward it. My relative purchased it, Sarah screamed, retrieving it rapidly. Incorrect, I said, accessing the financial documentation on my mobile device. I purchased it. It constitutes my possession. Set it down! She maintained possession. Genuine confrontation. The officials appeared prepared for action. Then, with final desperation, she hurled it into the vertical surface. It disintegrated into sections. Currently, it's identical to you, she sobbed. The enforcement official stepped closer. Miss Sarah, gather your possessions and vacate right now.